report started out by Trey and alumni.
Sophia teaches us how to fly fish, as well as getting to know the inside scoop on your favorite teachers.
But first up, Molly shows us what it's like to dance during COVID.
COVID has thrown everyone for a loop this past year. It had completely shut down everything, leaving people with no social interaction and missing how life was before COVID. Recently, many things have started to reopen. One of these things being dance studios. Katie's Tumbleweed is a dance studio that is located in Salisbury, Massachusetts at 1 Merrill Street, number 8. That has successfully been open since September, with new improvements to accommodate the new guidelines. What are some new protocols that have been implemented at the studio?
So due to COVID, there are lots of protocols that we had to put in place, such as our masks, which we're wearing right now because we're within 6 feet from each other. Each one of our classrooms also has squares on the floor, so they're marked out 6 by 6. We have limited our class sizes. So instead of having up to 15 to 20 kids in a class, we can only allow for 10 plus the instructor. When students come to class, they have to show up at the door and we take their temperature.
These new protocols seem to be working out quite nicely at the studio. Even though there are so many changes that are happening, things are still the same. The dancers on the competition team will be attending both of their competitions that are supposed to be held in March and April. And the recital is also said to be happening at the end of May. Most of the dancers at the studio seem to be extremely happy that they are back, doing what they love the most. What is it like being back at the dance studio, and are you happy to be back?
It's definitely different because we have to wear masks and spread out more, but it's good, it's fun that we're all together.
Yeah, it's really different, but I like being back with all my friends and everyone, and I hope it'll get better soon.
Yeah, I like being back with other people because it was a lot harder to learn our dances and stuff over Zoom. I like wearing the mask is annoying, but I like to see my friends and everyone. So
It's good being back, but I wish things were back to normal.
I'm very happy to be back in the studio because when I was at my house on Zoom, it was very hard to learn and pick up on choreography. But now that I'm back in the studio, it's much easier and I get to teach younger kids how to dance and I'm back with my friends.
I'm glad that I'm back at the studio, but it's kind of weird seeing everybody still in masks.
It has been so awesome being back. I mean, obviously it's so much more exciting having them dancing in person rather than Zoom, so I am extremely happy to be back.
The studio had been running remote dance classes and had the annual recital take place in the studio with very limited people. During this time, the classes took place over Zoom. What are the struggles you had to deal with remote teaching?
So the struggles with remote teaching was, I guess the biggest one was when we first hit the pandemic. We found out on a Friday that basically everything closed down. So we, over the course of a weekend, myself and 8 teachers all got all of our music and videos put together for our students by Monday, which was put onto Google Drive, and we gave access to everybody. And in the course of that following week, students just kind of reviewed their choreography for a recital that we were planning on for May. And the following week we implemented putting in Zoom classes. So just kind of getting the whole structure up and going was really challenging. We had no idea what to do to begin with.
As you can see, these dancers and teachers are very eager and thrilled to be back at dance safely, especially when life is so crazy in these uncertain times. Throughout this pandemic, the studio has made dance special and safe for all dancers, and they will continue to do so and come out of this even stronger as friends and family.
I've always wanted to do old-timey fancy writing.
What the heck is old-timey fancy writing?
It's also known as calligraphy.
Oh, you should have just said that. Well, you're in luck. Alexandra can teach you in our next segment.
Hello everyone, I'm Alexandra, and today I'm going to be teaching you how to do a form of calligraphy or journal writing. Call it what you want, but that's what I'm going to be doing. So let's go. So just for a quick background, the reason that I'm doing this video is because I have recently been getting myself into journaling, and I found it very helpful, not only just for my mental health, but just as a way to relax and de-stress. And I know that the form of journaling called bullet journaling is becoming increasingly popular. And I'm sure you've seen on Pinterest and TikTok all these videos of people making these journals that look beautiful with their fancy lettering and all their stickers and everything like that. And I'm just going to teach you how to very easily do that with nothing more than a regular pen that you can get anywhere. So here we go. Alright, so when you are making your lettering, as you can see, I only have this pen and I have a blank piece of paper. So the first thing that you're going to want to learn how to do before you even begin learning how to do this is learning how to do fancy lettering. So you can really, this is the part where it gets fun, is you can customize how your letters look each time. Some people like to do cursive, some people like to do a modified version of cursive. You can learn a specific alphabet, or you can just do it as you go. I learned a specific alphabet of how to write each letter a specific way. So I'm just going to show you some examples. But one thing that you want to do is you really want to make sure that each letter isn't super tight and close together, and it's very like flowy and has lots of like curls. So I'll show you what I mean. So let's take the letter B. So when I do my uppercase B's, I go like that. When I do my lowercase b's, I go like that. And that's actually a little bit bigger than what I would normally do. Or when I do my s's, I go like that. Just little things like that. So then when you're putting them together, as I said before, you want to make sure that they're big and spread out. So let's say if I were to write the word happy, and I would go that's what that would look like. So that's your first step of what you're going to want to do. The next step is to kind of make it look like calligraphy if that's what you're going for. So what you're going to do is you are going to highlight each of the down strokes. So I'll show you what I mean. So when I was writing out this letter happy, when I was doing my loop, my pen went down. So this line right here, I'm going to highlight it. So how I'm going to do that is I'm first going to just make a little indicator line. And I'm going to do that for all my letters to figure out just where my downstrokes are. So if I trace my steps, oh, I have another downstroke right here. So I'm going to highlight it. And I'm going to do that for all of the letters. So now all I'm going to do next is I'm just going to color in the lines that I just made. Alright, so this is what your final product should look like. As you can see, I did another example. I wrote out Triton for Viking Pride, just to give you another example of kind of how it should be done in that exact same format. I hope this is really helpful for you guys, and please reach out if you have any more questions.
I bet Mr. Getty appreciated that one.
Next up, Triton alum Patrice Sweeney recently opened up a new boutique in downtown Newburyport called the Wild Clover. Let's check it out.
Hi Mike, so I'm here with Patrice, and she is the owner of the Wild Clover here in Newburyport, and she graduated from Triton in 2017. Obviously, you named your boutique the Wild Clover. I was wondering why you named it that.
Well, Clover's my dog. A really nice, peaceful name. It's because she's crazy.
Who have been your biggest supporters?
So definitely my parents. Obviously, without my mom, I probably couldn't have moved into the space. However, I did pay and fund everything on my own, so I know that's a lot. I get a lot of questions about that. If my parents helped me financially, they didn't. But also my family as a whole has been super supportive. My sister, she's been great. Her boyfriend's been awesome. He comes by, he helps, and also my boyfriend's family has been incredible and huge supporters. My boyfriend's sister actually works for me one day a week on Tuesdays, so I really couldn't do it without any of them.
So do you have any favorites that you sell here?
I do. So obviously my most popular sellers are the rhinestone face masks, which I'm wearing. You know, we're in the middle of a pandemic. You might as well have a little bit of fun with it if you can. Lock chain necklace that's got the rhinestones on it. I personally have this piece. I love it. I wear it all the time. This sold out really fast last time. It was one of my favorite pieces. It was back ordered for months, so I'm really excited that it's back in. It's really cute. It's like a nice little shimmery bodysuit. And then we got the most popular Patchwork Jeans. These are so cute. Everybody who comes in, they absolutely love them.
Do you ever get difficult customers that are kind of hard to work with?
I personally haven't had any here yet.
What's your favorite part about owning your own boutique?
So the thing I like about owning my own boutique is I get to hand select all the pieces that are in here, which is a lot of fun.
Is there anything you want to tell young entrepreneurs or people just who want to work in fashion?
Yeah, so honestly, it's always going to seem a little bit scary, that initial push forward to get to the point that you want to be. But I keep telling people, like, you're never going to know if you don't at least try. And it's like there's always going to be trial and error, like, so you just have to keep pushing forward, figuring out what works and stuff like that. And I went to college for 2 years and I do have a degree, but if you really put your mind to something, I'm not saying don't go to college, but like if you put your mind to something, especially like becoming an entrepreneur, creating your own product, running your own business, that's not always necessary. And honestly, making those connections is huge. Like I said previously, I really couldn't do what I'm doing without the support of everyone.
Thank you so much, Patrice, for taking the time out of your day to discuss your boutique with us. I just want to say on behalf of all of us at Triton, we are very proud of your accomplishments. For anyone watching this video, you guys should definitely check out the Wild Clover Boutique.
Best of luck to Patrice and her business. Next time you're in Newburyport, check out the Wild Clover Boutique on Water Street.
Water Street? That reminds me of fish.
Great transition into our next story. Sophia Latham shows us how to fly fish.
Most people around here do a lot of ocean fishing, but although the fish are bigger, fly fishing is more of an art. Fly fishing requires more patience and has a beautiful way of casting. The fish caught fly fishing are more beautiful too. Even if you can't make it to a place where you can fly fish at the moment, you can learn to cast without the water, so that when you do have the opportunity to go fishing, you will be an expert. Here is the art of fly fishing. First thing you want to do is put your fly fishing rod together. When you're putting the rod together, you first want to put the reel on. You want to get some line out and you'll find a groove on either side that you'll fit the reel into. After you finish that, you're going to want to put the segments of the fishing rod together. You can make sure they're aligned by making sure that the dots are lined up with each other. Then after that, you want to fit the fishing line through the holes. When you've gotten the line through all of the holes, you want to keep pulling it until all the clear stuff is out at the end, and that there's the colored or thicker line going through. Get out your flies next, because you're going to tie one on. There's no real technique to tying on a fly if you're practical. If you want to get really technical, you can go online and find some fancy knots, but really what I just do the normal knot that we all know, again and again and again. You have to thread the line through a very small hole at the end of the fly, and then just continue doing your knots. Nothing special, just a normal knot so that it stays. It's gonna take quite a while, so you better be patient. Next we're gonna be learning how to cast, so make sure you have enough room. The most important part of casting is making the fish bite it, trying to make it move like a little fly, or a little fish, depending on what your fly looks like. You pull a ton of line out of your reel and hold it under your finger. Now, it's time to cast. What you're gonna do is you're gonna keep your finger very loosely over the line. You flick your hand back and flick it forward, letting your finger be loosened on the line that's in your hand. This lets the line that you have just pulled out of the reel go outwards. You want to do it a couple times before you get it out far enough. You don't want to cast just once. In this kind of cast, you want to go straight back. Remember, if you get a fly caught in the grass, you want to go up to it and slowly take it out of the grass. You want to let the rod do most of the work. It looks very pretty and it feels very nice to do it right. While fly fishing, when you pull the line in, you pull it with your hand. You don't pull it with the reel. Next, you're gonna do a roll cast. This is if you don't have a lot of room. In this situation, you want to do a very tight circle to your side. That way you won't hit anything behind you. Now, when you hook a fish, this is when the real fun begins. It's way out there. To attract the fish, you have to make it move like a bug as it's coming in. So, when you're pulling it in, you go like slow, fast, and then you twitch your rod a little bit to make it like look like a bug that's like shimmying through the water, you know what I mean? And you want to go short, fast. Let's say a fish just caught it. What do? I don't just start reeling in immediately. You got to set the hook so that the fish is actually hooked and it's not just like, oh geez, I just bit metal, time to get away. So you got to go like this. Just give it a short whoop, upward motion. Just whoop. Don't go like, because it's gonna be like, ah. You got to make sure you maintain not a lot of slack on the line. You want to bring it up close to the boat. Don't go like this and let the fish fly in the air really, because it'll slap someone in the face. And getting slapped in the face by a fish is like a mixed emotions experience. You're like, wow, revelation. And at the same time, you're like, I just got slapped in the face with a fish. What the hell? Don't slap anyone in the face with a fish. Imagine the fish is on the line. Someone will come up and they'll scoop the fish out of the water, and then they'll take the fly out of the fish. That was just 2 fish? Okay. That one is both. Mine is the one with the fat eyes.
Have you ever wondered what Lathrop does in his free time?
I don't know. He probably just creeps out his family by recording their every move.
Well, I don't know if he does that. Haley Harris gives us a look into the secret lives of some of our favorite Triton teachers.
As teenagers, school is a huge part of our daily schedule. We play sports or participate in clubs. A lot of us have part-time jobs. But most of all, we love to hang out with friends. But what about teachers? When they clock out, what are their lives like? Where do they like to go and what do they like to watch? I asked some of Triton's teachers what their lives are like behind the scenes. Let's find out.
Hi, I'm Ms. Flaherty. I teach English at the high school.
Hi, I'm Dr. Lathrop and I teach chemistry here at Triton.
My name is Bob Lathrop. I teach video production here at Triton.
Do you have any hobbies that you partake in?
I have many hobbies I partake in. Yoga is a big one right now. Loving yoga.
When I actually have time, I used to do a lot of photography, especially when I was in high school.
My biggest hobby is boating, and specifically sailing.
If you were to go to any restaurant in Mass, where would you go?
Tough question, but I think I have to give it to Blue Ribbon Barbecue in Arlington.
So I'm a big steak guy. I love to eat steak. And so I'd probably go to a steakhouse. Texas Roadhouse has good steaks. They also have pretty good music and a fun atmosphere.
There is a restaurant called Judy's in Amherst, Massachusetts, right around the corner from the Emily Dickinson Museum. They have the best bananas Foster. I would love to go there.
Listening to music is one of my favorite things to do. Can you recall any songs that you loved when you were in high school?
Ooh. When I was in high school is when I actually really discovered the Beatles, and to this day they are still my favorite band, so anything off Abbey Road.
Because I liked old stuff even back in the day, so I was into Queen and ABBA and stuff.
I was a Huey Lewis and the News fan. One of the songs that they recorded around that time was called The Heart of Rock and Roll.
At my prom, at my junior prom, when they played Dancing Queen, all my friends were like, oh! I was like, yeah, me.
So what was the last thing that you watched on TV?
Below Deck.
Last week tonight with John Oliver, but my wife got me into Parks and Rec big time, so we've been rewatching that a lot.
I watched a show called The Dead Files because I have an issue with paranormal and supernatural addictions.
I know you love coffee, so what's your go-to coffee order?
I have been the caffeinated joke of 4 different departments now. I generally go large black coffee, and by large I mean preferably about the size of my head, just to keep me awake.
Back in college, I used to drink it by the pot, and as a result, I developed heart palpitations from drinking it too much. So now I drink decaf coffee exclusively. Dunkin' Donuts hazelnut with cinnamon is probably my favorite.
Yeah, I don't drink coffee, but I do like tea. I'm big on black tea.
If you weren't a teacher, what would you be doing right now?
I would probably be a boat mechanic. Again, I just like working around boats.
My grandfather said he's surprised I didn't go into law enforcement.
I do miss being at the bench doing laboratory science. I also may have just taken some kind of nonprofit job to help because I like helping people.
If you could know the complete and utter truth to one question, what would it be?
I wouldn't want to know. I like to be curious. I like to wonder, so I don't want to know.
I would love to know the real truth about where we come from as human beings. I'm not sold on the idea that everything we see around us came from a single organism that crawled out of the ocean.
Oh God, that's tough. What the nature of the universe is and understanding matter, maybe, I guess.
How long do you think you would survive a zombie apocalypse?
I'm a pretty resourceful kind of person, so I would like to think that I would survive a good long time.
Oh my gosh, so long. I've watched every movie, read every book in preparation, so apparently I'm ready to go.
Oh, okay. Everybody says they're going to survive the whole thing. I think I would last a decently long amount of time, but I would definitely want to hang out with Mr. Horsley because that's how you know where everything is outdoors.
If you could choose one song to listen to for the rest of your life, what would that song be?
There's a song called Nessun Dorma. It's an opera song.
If I had to pick a song, it would be Samuel Barber's Adagio for Strings. It's an absolutely heavenly instrumental classical classic.
Okay, I'm going to cheat and again say anything off Abbey Road, but I guess one song, When the Levee Breaks, Led Zeppelin.
And there you have it, folks. That's a little bit about the Triton teachers that you see every day. I think that it's super important that you go have a fun conversation like this with one of your teachers, so that way you know a little bit more about them. With VTV, I'm Haley, and thank you so much for watching.
Wow, teachers don't actually live at the school? That's weird.
Whoever told you they lived at the school is not your friend.
Well, thanks for watching our second episode of VTV. See you next week.
For Triton VTV, I'm Izzy.
And I'm Julia.
Bye! So no one told you life was gonna be this way. I'm a comedic genius. I also have the longest torso in humanity. Pinky swear. I don't break a pinky swear. If you break a pinky swear, you're an awful human being.
We're chicken and ducks, the chicken is donuts. Why not? We're your favorite students.
Oh my God, Maggie Riley. This is a really good picture of you a video of you from like 4 years ago. Wow, look at her go. Triton alum Patrice Sweeney recently opened up a new boutique in downtown Newburyport called Big Brain.
10,000 IQ.
I'm getting, my watch is telling me to stand. Give me a second. I do this when I'm remote. I just take laps because my watch is telling me time to stand. Cut.